FBI sting operation. For nearly 5 years, Dana White was known in federal court documents only as John Doe. The president of the UFC was hiding behind a fake name in a massive legal case. The reason? An intimate tape. October 2014. Dana's in Brazil for a UFC event. He'd been seeing this dancer from the Spearmint Rhino in Las Vegas, and he flew her out to meet him. During their hotel room encounter, this woman secretly recorded them in a private moment on her cell phone. Dana had no clue he was being filmed. Plot twist. This dancer was the live-in girlfriend of a guy named Ernesto Joshua Ramos. And Ramos, once he got his hands on that footage, saw dollar signs. In January 2015, Ramos contacted Dana with a simple demand. Pay me $200,000 or this video goes public. He threatened to send it to Dana's wife, to the media, to everyone, but Dana didn't pay. He called the FBI. The FBI set up a full-on sting operation. They had Ramos come to Dana's office for the exchange, wired up the whole place, and when Ramos accepted the money, federal agents swarmed in and arrested him on the spot. Ramos pleaded guilty to felony extortion and served 366 days in federal prison. Throughout this entire criminal case, Dana's identity was protected. The court issued a special protective order, referring to him only as an unnamed Las Vegas businessman. The UFC was in the middle of negotiations for its $4 billion sale, so keeping this quiet was critical. Now here's the kicker. In April 2020, 5 years later, Ramos files a $10 million civil lawsuit against Dana. His legal argument? He claimed Dana's lawyers had made a secret deal with him, promising $450,000 to plead guilty and keep Dana's name out of the press forever. And now, Ramos was suing because Dana supposedly never paid. Dana's response was brutal. This guy went to federal prison for trying to extort me. Now he's trying to extort me again for $10 million. He got no money from me last time, and he won't be getting any money from me this time. The court dismissed the entire lawsuit, calling it civil extortion. But the damage was done. The John Doe mystery was solved, and the whole world now knew about the intimate tape ran from the mob. Before Dana White was a multi-millionaire CEO, he was a 21-year-old boxing instructor in South Boston. And South Boston in the 1990s was mob territory. This was the home turf of the Winter Hill Gang, run by Whitey Bulger, one of the most feared criminals in American history. This guy inspired Jack Nicholson's character in The Departed. Dana's running boxing classes out of local gyms, teaching businessmen and kids. He's making decent money, building a solid operation. But in South Boston, if you're making money, the mob wants a piece. One day, Dana's in the middle of teaching a class when two guys walk into his gym. They interrupt the session and ask him, "Do you know who we are?" Dana says no. The men tell him they work for Kevin Weeks, Whitey Bulger's right-hand man, his driver, his surrogate son. The message was clear. Dana owed them $2,500. He tried to ignore the demand, hoping they'd move on. That was a mistake. A few days later, Dana gets a phone call. The voice delivers an ultimatum. "You have until 1 o'clock tomorrow to pay us, or we're going to hurt you." In South Boston, hurt didn't mean a slap on the wrist. It could mean a beating, a stabbing, or worse. Dana couldn't pay them. He couldn't fight them. So he ran. Dana hung up, went home, packed a bag, and bought a one-way ticket to Las Vegas. He left everything behind. His gyms, his equipment, his entire life in Boston, gone. That forced move to Las Vegas changed everything. In Vegas, Dana reconnected with his childhood friends, Lorenzo and Frank Fertitta, and that connection eventually led to them buying the UFC for $2 million in 2001. A $2,500 mob shakedown created a $4 billion sports empire. Kevin Weeks, the guy who chased Dana out of town, ended up becoming a government witness to avoid life in prison. And Whitey Bulger spent 16 years as a fugitive before getting caught and murdered in prison in 2018. Death prediction. In 2022, Dana White was told by a health expert that he had 10.4 years left to live. Not, "You need to lose weight." This guy looked at Dana's blood work and said, "You have a decade left, and that's it." The expert was Gary Brecka, a biologist who specializes in biological forecasting. He takes your blood panels, your DNA, all your medical data, and predicts when you're going to die. Dana's lab results were so bad they triggered an internal alert at Brecka's lab. His triglycerides were at 768 milligrams per deciliter. A healthy level is under 150. Dana's levels were 5 times higher than normal. He also had hyperhomocystinemia, which means your blood becomes toxic to your own blood vessels. It's a ticking time bomb for heart attacks and strokes. Dana was so overweight he couldn't sleep without a CPAP machine. His oxygen levels were so low during the night, he was literally suffocating in his sleep. He was taking 7 different prescription medications just to keep his body functioning. Gary Brecka said, "If you don't change everything right now, you're dead in 10 years. Dana went all in. Brecka put him on a strict ketogenic diet, ice baths every morning, red light therapy, the works. Within 10 weeks, Dana lost 44 pounds. His triglycerides dropped from 768 to under 130. He got off all 7 medications. His projected life expectancy went from 10 years to nearly 30 years. Dana literally added 2 decades to his life in less than 3 months. Banned from casinos. Dana White is so good at gambling that casinos literally ban him. The house, which is supposed to always win, has had to tell Dana to take his money and never come back. Dana is what's called a whale in the casino world. A high roller who bets massive amounts. We're talking $25,000 per hand of blackjack. Most people bet $25. Dana bets 1,000 times that in 2014, Dana went on a legendary winning streak at the Palms Casino in Las Vegas. Between March and May, he won nearly $2 million. The Palms management started sweating. They were losing so much money to one guy, it was affecting their bottom line. So they cut his betting limit. They told Dana he could only bet $5,000 per hand instead of $25,000. For a whale like Dana, that's basically saying, get out. Dana's response: then I'm done at the Palms. He pulled all UFC business from the casino. No more events, no more Ultimate Fighter finales, nothing. The boycott cost the Palms millions. But here's the best part. The casino management sent Dana a trophy, an actual trophy. The inscription read, "Congrats, you kicked our ass and made us tap out." Dana keeps that trophy in his office as a reminder that he's one of the few people who can say they beat a Las Vegas casino for millions and live to tell the tale. Christmas in the desert, December 24th, 2013. Las Vegas. It's 63 degrees outside, and Dana White's driveway is covered in 3 feet of snow in the middle of the desert in 63-degree weather. Dana grew up in Connecticut and Massachusetts, where white Christmases are normal. But now he lives in Vegas, where it never snows. His kids had never experienced waking up on Christmas morning and seeing snow everywhere, so Dana decided to just make it happen. He hired a commercial ice production company to shred massive amounts of ice and dump it all over his property. His entire driveway, his front lawn, everything. He turned it into a functional sledding hill. His kids woke up on Christmas morning and saw a winter wonderland. Meanwhile, it's 63 degrees outside. The neighbors are walking around in t-shirts while Dana's kids are building snowmen. Dana has a history of ignoring rules he doesn't like. For 5 years, he paid his homeowners association $2,500 per month in fines because he refused to remove a pool and waterfall feature that violated community standards. That's $150,000 in fines over 5 years. For Dana, it was basically a subscription fee to do whatever he wanted. Wife slap incident. New Year's Eve, 2022, Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Dana and his wife Ann are at a nightclub called El Squid Row. The clock strikes midnight, and then things go sideways. Video footage shows Dana and Ann getting into an argument in the VIP section. Ann slaps Dana across the face. Dana's reaction? He immediately slaps her back, twice. Here's where the hypocrisy gets brutal. Back in 2014, when NFL player Ray Rice was caught on video knocking out his fiancée, Dana said, "There is never, ever an excuse for a guy to put his hands on a woman. There's one thing you never bounce back from, and that's putting your hands on a woman." Dana said that on camera, multiple times. When the video of him slapping his wife surfaced, the internet exploded. Dana admitted, "You've heard me say over the years, there's never an excuse for a guy to put his hands on a woman, and now here I am on TMZ talking about it." Ann gave a statement saying they were both drunk and that the incident was out of character. They apologized to each other and showed the video to their kids. But Dana didn't face any punishment from the UFC or Endeavor. No suspension, no fine, nothing. Meanwhile, fighters have been cut for far less. Dana's only punishment was public humiliation. As he put it, "I have to walk around for however long I live, and this is how I'm labeled now. Office decorations." Most CEOs decorate their offices with art or awards. Dana White decorates his with the bones of extinct predators. Dana has an authentic saber-toothed tiger skull in his office. Not a replica, a real fossil from the Ice Age. These things sell for $69,000 to $150,000. Dana's also into Tyrannosaurus Rex fossils. In 2022, a T-Rex skull sold at Sotheby's for $6.1 million. While Dana hasn't confirmed if he owns a full T-Rex skeleton, he operates in those circles. Scientists hate this. Paleontologists argue that when rich guys buy these fossils, it removes them from the scientific community. Museums can't afford to compete with billionaires at auction, so these rare specimens end up in private collections where researchers can't study them. For Dana, it's about symbolism. He surrounds himself with apex predators, the most dominant creatures to ever walk the earth. It's a reminder of the UFC. Only the strongest survive. Power Slap lies. In 2023, Dana launched Power Slap. The concept: 2 people stand across from each other and slap each other in the face as hard as they can. That's it. Most people think it's ridiculous. Medical experts raise concerns about brain damage. Critics say it's barbaric, but Dana claims it's the biggest sport in the world. He said that Power Slap has more social media followers than the NBA, MLB, NHL, and WWE combined. He points to TikTok views, where one video hit 355 million views. But here's reality. Power Slap's Instagram has 3.9 million followers. Real Madrid has 162 million. So how is Dana claiming Power Slap is bigger? He's cherry-picking stats, taking viral TikTok clips out of context and using them to inflate the league's importance. Classic promoter move. 2 million to 4 billion. In 2001, the UFC was dying, banned in multiple states. Senator John McCain called it human cockfighting. Nobody wanted to touch it. Dana convinced his childhood friends, Lorenzo and Frank Fertitta, to buy the company for $2 million. For the first few years, they lost money, tens of millions. They almost gave up, but Dana kept pushing. He convinced Spike TV to air The Ultimate Fighter, which became a massive hit. Slowly, the UFC turned around. By 2016, everything changed. The UFC was sold to Endeavor for $4.25 billion. Dana, who owned 9% of the company, walked away with roughly $360 million. He went from running away from the mob in Boston to cashing a $360 million check in 15 years. One of the greatest business turnarounds in sports history, all from a $2 million bet on a dying company nobody believed in.